Alright guys, BLM here back with a new video, and in this video we're back with another video revolving around Survivor 50, where I genuinely did not intend on making this video. This is a very impromptu video, however, I do think there's some interesting things to talk about here, and this is a video where I'll be talking about the season trailer, which again might seem like a very minor topic to talk about here. However, I did feel like we actually got some interesting things from this recently released trailer. Obviously, the one coming from the 49 finale, a trailer that gave us, again, our first look at Survivor 50, but also some new revelations about what might be happening on 50, which are very funny.
MrBeast.
But again, I thought this would be a fun, quick video to put together here, mainly because I'm in need of fun, quick videos to put together. So here we go. Let's run through the Survivor 50 trailer from beginning to end, where we do start off with what is kind of this like folk-esque music playing in the background. Very much feeling like music that you would hear from like a Western or the beginning of some sort of showdown, which obviously, again, seems like the intention here, though is a little bit strange considering that it always was set up that Survivor 50 is supposed to be about fun and it's supposed to be a celebration, which is, again, weird that you're saying that up with like kind of it being this like epic showdown. Though in general, this music very much like reminded me of The Last of Us, which again, I never thought I'd be making that comparison to Survivor. Again, we do instantly see these shots here of the players at the airport walking towards the plane, which I thought was pretty cool here, where obviously we had known from Redmond previously that they did film the players getting on the plane and flying out to Fiji, which again, I assume will be the opening scene of the season, which I think is a fairly unique way to be starting off the season. Something that feels like this cool epic intro that feels kind of Australian Survivor-esque. Though it is here that we see our first person, which I think is Coach.
What business do I have going on season 50?
Though again, you can't really recognize him here. So funnily enough, the first person we get to actually recognize is Jonathan, because thank God we got to see Jonathan right away.
You learned nothing. You haven't learned anything.
But then we get to our first words that we hear in this trailer, that coming from Coach, quoting Magellan.
I'll start with a quote from Magellan,
which means we're back, baby.
You better believe it, baby. I can slay it, Coach.
But I'll say, in general, I am a little bit surprised that Coach got the starting words of this trailer, where I was kind of expecting it to be either from a more recent fan favorite or from General Colby, the really old school players. But again, it coming from Coach, and again, it being this epic quote from Magellan, again, just feels about right. Though it is kind of disappointing that this is all we get from Coach in this trailer here. Then we proceed to get more shots of people from the back, like Ozzy, very notably.
For revenge, basically.
So the first person we get to see the face of in this trailer ends up being Colby.
I'm a survivor.
Which I do think is an interesting choice here. Now, obviously it is one of the oldest school players on the board, though I do think for me personally, I was kind of expecting it to be Jenna, again, the person from Survivor Borneo the first season, though I do actually understand why it's Colby. I do think Colby is obviously a more recognizable face to the casual audience. He's someone that I think old school fans of the show would be more excited to see than Jenna Lewis, who, again, while she is from Survivor Borneo, she was just never really the household name that Colby Donaldson was. So I feel like a lot of people might see her and just not even realize that she's supposed to be an OG player, while Colby is someone that, again, I think is a lot more recognizable from older school fans. And I'll say in general, it is fairly nice that they did put a lot of gravitas into these older school players in this trailer, where really a bulk of the beginning portions of this trailer do focus on the older school players, which, again, considering the fact that half this cast is from fairly recent seasons, I did expect there to be a lot more new era players being focused on in this trailer, which, again, thankfully wasn't the case. Considering this is meant to be a celebration of the series, I guess you would expect that, but it was nice to see that, again, aspects of this trailer do embrace the history of the series, where we do proceed to get like a quick montage of all the logos, and we do get like shots of these players from their previous seasons in this trailer, which is a nice touch. Obviously adding to this like level of nostalgia to this trailer, which in general I do like, though I do wish there were a lot more references to actual previous seasons and people's experiences in previous seasons in this trailer, to where ultimately I did feel like this trailer felt kind of bare bones from that angle, where, well, obviously I know who these people are from the offset, it doesn't really feel like this trailer does much to actually introduce these players, doesn't really give setup to their storylines on this season, which again, I don't need, though I think it would have definitely added to this like more epic feel to get more of a sense of people's state of minds coming into this season. It is at this point where we do cut to Fiji, where we do see a boat with the players on it. A boat that I'll say kind of came off as lackluster to me, where I feel like this is a spot again where we heard from Redmond that they started off the season on a massive freighter ship to where, and I was expecting this to be like a ship on like an epic scale, though it kind of just felt like a normal boat to where, again, it's like a smaller boat than what we've seen them start on like Survivor 45, to where, again, I was kind of expecting this to be a bit grander, and in general, it just feels like them kind of reheating Australian Survivor's nachos, where this is literally just what they did in Australian Survivor 2017, where, again, it feels like kind of a basic intro, though I guess probably more the gravitas is being put onto them getting onto the plane anyway, and ultimately, again, it's not that big of a deal, but this is obviously where we start to get some scenes from the marooning, Jeff introducing Survivor 50, us getting shots of the random old school players, with, again, it really focusing on a lot of old school here, again, seeing Coach, seeing Stephanie, Ozzy, who has gray hairs on his chin, where, again, really funny to see these legendary players looking pretty old at this point, but obviously it's nice to see Jeff talking about celebrating 25 seasons, and we cut to Jenna Lewis, to which we then cut to some very weird photos that are clearly meant to be like old school photos, yet some of them were very clearly recent. Now, some of them did seem like photos from their original seasons, but again, just very weird how this was portrayed here, where, again, it felt like these should have been like these like scrapbook photos, yet again, like the Ozzy and Sari images were very clearly just modern images they put a yellow tint on, but again, whatever. But it's fine, so again, get another slow montage of some of the players as Jeff is giving his monologue, including a shot of Joe's daddy-o tattoo, not even showing his face, which was very weird. And also a very prolonged shot of Jonathan, because, again, thank God Jonathan's back. Though I did find it very funny how this speech ends with Jeff giving this very melodramatic line at the end about how the only thing we want for giving you a spot on this season
Is everything.
which, again, at least they're taking this seriously, but again, it did come off a bit ridiculous to me. But again, it adds to the gravitas of this trailer, to where at this point we do start to get some true confessionals here, starting off with Jenna Lewis.
Fucking Sheehan! Are you kidding me? When Sheehan opens her mouth, I want to open mine and put a gun in it.
Which, again, very exciting to see Jenna Lewis here. Very apt for the first true confessional to come from the player from Survivor Borneo. Though, with that said, I'm a bit underwhelmed by her actual confessional.
Season 50 is a celebration of the game that created my entire life.
It doesn't even mention the fact that she's from Survivor Borneo, the fact that she's playing for her first time in like 20 years, and that she played for the first time 25 years ago. And again, that's just what I'm talking about here, where it feels very bare bones. It doesn't feel like it really gave us much of who Jenna is and what her place in Survivor history is, where, again, I obviously know what it is, but it really feels like, again, if you're just some casual or some new viewer to Survivor, you're going to have no clue who Jenna Lewis is or why this is impactful in any way. But it's fine that, again, we get to Sari.
I've done it all.
Which obviously, I assume more people will recognize instantly, where she gets the confessional talking about she's been playing for 20 years.
It's been 20 years for me. It's definitely unfinished business.
Which, again, is more in line with the type of confessional I was hoping for, though at the same time, still not a lot of depth here. I wish, again, it kind of had her mentioning that she's the best to never win. She's the couch potato that got off the couch. But again, it's fine. Oh, we then get to Colby, which is just, again, very surreal, seeing this much older Colby on reality TV again. Though, again, another just very basic confessional of him saying,
How many more shots am I gonna get?
which, I mean, I'm surprised you got this one. Though, again, another spot, just no introduction to him. Again, no reference to the fact that he was like this old school fan favorite, the fact that he almost won the game.
All I know is I was damn close to that $1 million, all right?
Again, no reference to any of that. But generally, I was excited the first time watching this when seeing all these old school players here. And I thought it was refreshing to then cut to a very new school player, that being Q.
And I'm gonna take your job. You have a job now, buddy.
Who probably gets the best confessional of this entire preview here, with Q just doing his shtick, where I was expecting him to do that, where, again, I very much expected Q to be coming into this in this, like, coach, heroes versus villain sort of mold of him kind of doubling down on his character, taking the gimmicks he had the first time around and really going all in on those, and we see him right away doing his cancel Christmas shtick.
I'm gonna cancel everything that you can cancel. Your Christmas, your vacation, your doctor's appointment.
Again, I thought it was a really funny confessional here, which generally had me giddy at this point, though the reality is that this is probably the peak of the trailer, as it's following this where we get a shot of a Beast Games coin, which was weird. Now, obviously, we knew that there was going to be a Survivor crossover in Beast Games, with Jeff himself appearing on it, where, again, the fact that it's the same thing the other way around isn't the most shocking thing in the world, though definitely was a bad sign for things to come.
MrBeast.
But again, that'll surely be the only Beast Games reference we get in this trailer. But it's at that point where we do cut to the formal shot of the players on the ship, being a full shot of all the players for the first time, where I can't believe it, Savannah and Rizzo are on Survivor 50. I definitely didn't know that for the last 7 months. Also, I will say, very weird that this is how they introduced the 49 players on the cast here. It's just through this shot in a spot where they're wearing the exact same clothing as their previous season, which I find very funny. The fact that, obviously, again, with returning seasons, they typically tell them to wear similar clothes the last time, typically color coordinated to their tribes. I found it funny that here with Rizzo and Savannah, they're wearing pretty much the exact same style of clothes they wore just a few weeks ago on the show. But anyway, it's at this point where we get a very generic Aussie confessional.
Fans of the fans, he's going to open up Pandora's box.
Pretty lame, though. To be fair, I'm kind of surprised Ozzy got confessional at all, especially considering how quiet of an edit he got in Game Changers. While obviously Ozzy is a massive casual fan favorite, and again gets shown a lot in this trailer, I didn't expect him to actually get the talk. But again, we do get a lot of Ozzy here. Again, him here, him at the marooning, him in those photos, him at the airport. It really feels like we're getting a lot of Ozzy, which again, I was not expecting to get that much Ozzy here. But then we get to a full-on shot of the marooning, every player standing side by side, which is really the only shot of certain players we get throughout this entire trailer, where I really don't think we even see Emily or Kyle making much of an appearance in the trailer beyond this.
Yeah, because you're useless.
Though something I do love about this scene is that it just really shows how broken my Survivor brain is at this point, where the first thing that I think about when I see this photo here is, where is Mother Vive?
That's community, Jeff.
And more specifically, where's the Bob? The Bob that we were promised. Or initially, I thought Mother Vive was the person standing next to Savannah, and I noticed that person had long hair, and I was like, oh no, Mother Vive doesn't have a Bob on the season. They lied to us. Only to turn out that she's actually the person standing next to Sari, which generally can't tell. It's pretty ambiguous. So thank God we'll have this mystery solved by the end of this video. Though it's at that point where we do get a confessional from Camilla saying that
We have to be ready for anything, which is scary.
I find it very funny that Camilla was the first of the 48 players to get a confessional in this preview, where, again, if you were to tell me coming into this that Camilla would get a confessional but Savannah wouldn't, I would be pretty mind blown at that. Then we do get more shots of challenges, which along with that does come some spoilery things that, again, I won't dive into in this video, though there is another shot here including Mother Vive, where it is here that we can confirm does seem to have shorter hair, almost as if it's a bob. How exciting! And that's not the only shot we get, where we then proceed to see Jonathan jumping into the water. But who cares about that? Because we also see Mother Vive, where again, she seems to have shorter hair. So it's real.
The scales be tipping.
But that joy is instantly sapped when we proceed to take a really unexpected turn in this trailer, where really the next 15 seconds of this trailer just goes completely off the rails, where we proceed to see players' reactions to something insane. Oh my God. Which I wonder what they're reacting to. It certainly isn't Zach Brown showing up on a boat, to which I question, who the fuck is Zach Brown? Now, generally, again, I had heard of Zach Brown in the past. Like, I know, like, one song of his, but little bit of chicken fried. Again, why is he on Survivor? And why is he on Survivor with the fish? Again, just the idea they flew out, again, Zach Brown, this random country singer, to show up for a reward is very funny. Now, again, I don't know if he's there to just introduce the reward. I don't know if he's there to be like Rupert on Survivor Israel, where he's going to help them at camp for whatever reason. I don't know if it's like SA Champions, where he's going to help them in challenges. Like, I don't know what's happening here. Why is this happening? And with that, again, surely Zach Brown will be the only celebrity to be referenced in this entire trailer, or this entire next 15 seconds.
MrBeast.
I will say genuinely, again, while it's insane that, again, Zach Brown of all people is showing up on Survivor at this point, and that in itself is ridiculous, I do in general wonder how many celebrities are going to make direct cameos on the season, because you would think if they had them, they would show better people than Zach Brown. Though, again, I find it so funny how it is immediately following this that we proceed to get a Rizzo confessional of him being excited to see Zach Brown on Survivor.
See Zach Brown on Survivor.
Which I was like, there is 0% chance Rizzo actually knew who Zach Brown was. Like, Zach Brown's most popular song came out 17 years ago. We're really saying Rizzo knows who Zach Brown is? Like, I barely know who Zach Brown is. I'm a few years older than him, where, again, I very much doubt Rizzo actually knew who Zach Brown is. I just find it so funny how, like, Rizzo was the person they decided to show the confessional of in the trailer here. Though obviously with this brings the entire topic here of all these celebrity cameos of Survivor 50, which really just brings the question, why? Why are they doing this? And the thing is, like, I know Jeff is someone that really seems to be pandering to celebrities nowadays. Again, it really feels like he's trying to get these, like, celebrities to go on the show or promote the show. And this obviously feels attached to that. Again, him trying to expand the brand, trying to get new people into the show. And again, I get that from his perspective, from the business side of things. However, in general, I do think this just comes off kind of sad from Jeff. Like, it just feels like him, like, practically begging these people to acknowledge the show. And for me, what makes this all worse is that, again, this is Survivor 50. Again, a season that should be respecting the history of the show, should be respecting the players you brought on. And the fact that we're deciding to dedicate some of that time to random celebrities just feels inappropriate here, and especially in the trailer, where again it really feels like a spot here where this kind of just overshadows a lot of the rest of the trailer, where really a lot of the reaction to this trailer at this point is people being upset at these celebrity cameos instead of actually being excited for the players that we're finally getting to see back. To where again you see a lot of people being very disappointed in the trailer, a lot of people saying that they're not even excited for the season anymore, which again is not the case for me. And ultimately, the overall stance I do have on the celebrities here is that ultimately it really doesn't matter. Like, I know a lot of people are coming out of this being very disappointed, yet it really is a thing where, like, this is probably just going to be such a minor blip on the season. It's probably just going to be, again, dumb references here and there. Even if it does waste a lot of time on the show, again, they have longer episodes nowadays anyway, and in recent seasons, they've been struggling to fill that time, to where I don't have a major issue with just the concept of this. However, I do have an issue of it being on 50, where again, why is it these like big returning seasons they decided to do something wacky like Edge of Extinction, fire tokens, and this time around again just random celebrity cameos? So I get that they want Survivor 50 to be a big deal, but I think it's just disingenuous to call this like a celebration of the series when we're deciding to focus on things that aren't related to Survivor, where generally I think this would have been a fantastic idea if you did the exact same thing but with Survivor alum. Like if you did the exact same thing but with Boston Rob, with Parvati, Sandra, Tony, like had them fly out, be part of rewards, be part of advantages. And that would be a cool way to embrace the history of the show, have these big legends of the show involved without having to actually bring them back and play on the season. Again, it would have felt like a true celebration of the series, yet instead we're celebrating these random celebrities. And what's funny is that we're not even at the point where it really goes off the rails as we proceed to cut to Rick Devens.
Oh yeah!
Saying that it's a
Billie Eilish boomerang item.
Which, what the fuck does that even mean? So generally, this is my breaking point. Again, generally the Zach Brown thing, again, it's weird, very random, but it is a complete non-issue. What the fuck is a Billie Eilish boomerang idol? Again, as I mentioned before, ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's not going to be that big of a thing. It's really just an advantage named after a celebrity. But again, the fact that they're putting this in the trailer is just so funny, where I never expected in my entire life to hear the term Billie Eilish boomerang idol to ever be said. Also, again, what is a boomerang idol? Now, again, I know there's a lot of speculation over what this idol could be. It could be an idol that gets played twice. Maybe an idol that if you play correctly, you get to use it again. Maybe an idol that if you play it, it gives an idol to the person you play it on. Again, I think there's many things it can be. I'm not even going to bother truly speculating here, as it really doesn't matter. Though something I am interested in is the fact that, again, it is obviously named after Billie Eilish, obviously a celebrity that is a fan of Survivor. So it does make me question, like, are these being named after celebrities just for the sake of it, or were these actually advantages created by these celebrities? Where I know that's a major thing that Jeff does, is obviously talk to these celebrities and ask them about ideas for the show. And again, I think there is a chance that these advantages that are named after these celebrities are named after them because there are ideas that came from them. Again, essentially being the Tyler Perry idol, but on steroids, because there's obviously more than one. But again, it is having Survivor fans being involved in the show. Again, truly in the hands of the fans, because it's in the hand of celebrity fans. They're creating these advantages, where, again, thank God at least some fans got some influence on this season. Where, again, I do generally think that's probably what's going on here. I do think this is likely a spot where Jeff took a lot of celebrity fan ideas and implemented them on the show for this season. Which, again, like, why this season? And again, the ridiculous doesn't even end there, where we then cut to Christian.
We have an International Women's Day Alliance.
I'm not with this.
Where, again, cool, Christian's there. Thank God we finally see Christian again. Didn't expect the first words I hear from Christian being that
Jimmy Fallon may decide my fate in this game.
which is, again, insane. Now, I'll say also, all this is also very spoiler spoilery. Very funny that this is a spot where in the trailer for the season, they decide to actively spoil who finds advantages just so they could force these celebrity names into the trailer. And again, we're not even at the most unhinged part of this entire trailer yet. The point where I was just genuinely aghast at what I was seeing, where we then cut to a briefcase with the Beast Games logo on it, with Jeff Probst literally uttering the words,
"Welcome to Survivor 50, Mr. Beast."
Who is actually on the island, on the show? Which is, what are we doing? Again, just so ridiculous that MrBeast is showing up on Survivor 50 with a briefcase. Which I assume this is at the auction, where again, it very much feels like an auction sort of setting. And I know a lot of people are speculating over the fact that maybe MrBeast is like offering to increase the prize pool, which again would be something apt for Survivor 50. But again, why is MrBeast on Survivor 50? Again, really funny to just see Jeff pandering MrBeast in this spot, where again, Jeff is someone that had been very anti anyone going on other reality shows, only for now him himself to make an appearance on Beast Games, and now for MrBeast to show up on Survivor. Again, it's so weird, where as I mentioned before, it ultimately doesn't matter, though it's very funny this is the way they're branding this season. And again, it's so funny this happens all so quickly in this trailer. Again, all going from a pretty solid trailer into a trailer involving Zach Brown with a fish.
See Zach Brown on Survivor.
And then references the
Billie Eilish boomerang item.
and
Jimmy Fallon.
and then
Mr. Beast.
showing up. Again, it's such a bizarre turn here. So again, as much as we've been complaining about this trailer, I think this trailer has been generally good up to this point. Again, a bit shallow, but again, a very solid trailer. But again, for it to just go completely off the rails at this point, it's just so funny, especially considering immediately following this, it goes back on the rails, where after this, it's just back to the normal conventions of the trailer about talking about how epic the season is, with Aubrey talking about
Season 50 is the biggest moment in Survivor history.
Tiffany saying,
This is the Survivor Coliseum. It's do or die.
where again, it feels like as if that last 15 seconds didn't happen. Though I did find it very funny that Tiffany somehow got a confessional in this trailer when, again, many other seemingly bigger names didn't.
That's bullshit.
Though it is here where we get a very important shot. This kind of ridiculous shot, actually, of like Savannah crossing a balance beam while like Aubrey's midair. Though it is in the background where we finally see it in all its glory. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Though it is funny that we then proceed to get our Joe confessional. Which, again, I'm kind of surprised that Joe didn't get more focus in his trailer, especially considering how he's like the most recent casual fan favorite, getting like an episode of like 48 hours. And it very much feels like Joe is someone that you just would have expected to get a lot more focus here, but he does get a confessional.
I don't just want to win, I do want to make a statement.
Again, really makes the question, like, what is his statement? We saw him on 48, again, talk about how he wants to show that you play the game with loyalty, to where, again, is he going to do that again? I mean, I know he implied in his exit interviews that he was going to try to play the game differently, but again, like, what statement does he have to make here? Either way, we then proceed to get, again, a few more epic shots here, including one of Stephanie and Jenna interacting.
Good luck, bitch.
Which I thought was a spoiler at first to them potentially getting swapped together, though then I kind of realized they were actually standing next to each other in a marooning. So again, it's just kind of all nothing. Though again, kind of insane to see these two on my TV screen together. And again, very funny that we then proceed to get another montage of old school challenge clips, only then to cut to Jeff Probst himself trying out a challenge. So I guess Jeff is going to be doing a challenge on Survivor 50 for whatever reason. Though we didn't proceed to get, again, kind of these epic shots here of the players on the plane. Felt kind of Squid Games-esque, though. Definitely a cool visual there. Though we obviously can't end the trailer just yet because we still need a confessional from Mike White. Who obviously gets the final confessional here.
Feels a little like high school reunion meets like a massacre.
Which is, man, solid confessional for Mike White. Kind of what you would expect. Though again, not a surprise that we end on Mike White, who obviously is like the big star they're promoting with this season. So which is following this, that again, we end the trailer, the same music from the beginning of the trailer, which again just felt very Last of Us Part 2-esque. But overall, again, it does definitely give this trailer a very epic vibe, though also kind of a weirdly somber one. But genuinely, again, by the end of this, I thought this was a very fun trailer. Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms to be had about the celebrities, and that's definitely the biggest thing talked about from this trailer, just the ridiculousness of it. Though, again, at the end of the day, it is only 15 seconds of the trailer. If you take out those 15 seconds, I think it is a very solid trailer. And again, I wish there was a little bit more depth from the confessionals themselves, which we got to see, again, more of the players interacting. Though still, seeing a lot of these people back on our TV screens was just so surreal to see. So again, I'm still personally hyped for Survivor 50, and I think a lot of people out there would be more hyped for 50 if it wasn't for the celebrity thing. But obviously, Survivor production to shoot themselves in the foot because it's Survivor production.
Do you like me at all?
But again, those are essentially my thoughts on the Survivor 50 trailer. Again, just a video I thought would be fun to make here, especially considering I've already watched this trailer like a billion times. I might as well talk about it. Again, generally, I am still very excited for Survivor 50. I still have a lot of Survivor 50 related content I intend on making. Coming up, obviously, my Survivor 50 casting rumor mill video, which will be out at some point. Also, I have my preseason power ranking, which I made months back, that will eventually come out to the public. I also do want to make a preseason based video for Survivor 50 once we get like the cast photos and interviews. So again, I'll do a video on that probably like right before the season ends up starting. Also, beyond that, I have like certain rankings and other cast related videos I do want to do for Survivor 50 at some point down the road as well, probably sometime during 50's run. And obviously by the end, I'll do my season review and player ranking, which hopefully I can get the review out on time, though I can't really promise anything at this point. And when all said and done, after Survivor 50, I still have a very, very, very big ranking plan to wrap it all up, to where, again, expect all of that at some point next year. Either way, those are my reactions and my takeaways from the trailer of Survivor 50. Thank you for watching.